Hello everyone, welcome to this brand new video in which I will remake the iconic game Flappy Bird in Unity. This tutorial is going to be very basic and we will only cover the most basic parts. Watch the full video or you will miss out on something important. So without any further delay, let's get straight into it. First, you will have to open the Unity Hub and create a new project. To create, click New Project. Select the Universal 2D pipeline. Name the project whatever you want and choose the project location. Click Create Project. Wait for the project to open. After the project is open, you will see the editor window. If you are not aware of the Unity editor basics, then check out my video on Unity basics. Link is in the description. First things first, you will need some resources to craft your game. I have attached the project files in the description. Download those and import into your project. To create Flappy Bird, we need a bird first. In the project files, you will see 3 bird sprites. Select all 3 of them, drag and drop them in here. It will ask you to save the animation. Save it wherever you want. This is the flapping bird animation. There is our bird. Hit the play button and see what happens. Our bird is flapping, but it is not falling to the ground as Newton said. It is because physics don't apply to it yet. To simulate the bird as a physical object, click Add Component, Rigid Body 2D, make sure to add the 2D one. It's important. Rigid Body is for 3D objects and Rigid Body 2D is for 2D objects. Now you can see that it falls naturally and goes off screen. Why? Because we have no ground here. Head to the project files and drag the ground sprite, drop it here. Easy ground, make sure to center it. Next, we need a background. Fetch it and add to the scene. We will modify the order in layer attribute in the sprite render component to decide which sprite will render above the other. Greater the order in layer, more in front of other sprites it will render. Looking a lot better now. Now again press play. Our bird still falls and goes off screen. Why? Because to simulate collisions between game objects, you need a collider. Select the bird. Click Add Component, Circle Collider 2D. Now for the ground, click Add Component, Box Collider 2D. Now if you press play, then you can see that now our bird hits the ground perfectly. The next task is to make the bird jump as in the real Flappy Bird. To achieve that, we will use custom C# scripts to define our own behavior. For that, in the Projects tab, right-click on the assets, create new folder, name it Scripts. Now in the Scripts, right-click, create C# script. After the compilation is complete, double-click to open it in Visual Studio. If you don't have Visual Studio installed, then check out my video on the same, link is in the description. Here you will see 2 methods, start and update. The start method is called when the game is started and update method is called once every frame while the game is running. The first thing we will need is the Rigid Body 2D component we added to the bird. It is to add a force on the object in the upward direction, that is making the bird jump. We will store this component in this RB2D variable. To get the component, we will create a new awake function. This function is called while the script instance is being loaded. In this function, we will use the getComponent method to access the Rigid Body 2D and assign it to our RB2D variable. We want to jump when the user presses the space key. To handle inputs, in the update method, we will check if the user presses the space key. If it happens, for now, we will print a log to the console. Now hit play and see what happens if I press space. Jump gets printed to the console. Now back in our script, we will replace the log by a method to add a force to the rigid body 2D in the upwards direction. To control the intensity of this jump, we will use a multiply variable. We can adjust its value to change our jump force. Feel free to experiment with these settings, and yes, save the scene by Ctrl+S after you make your changes. And yes, we can jump now. Now let's make the game start when the user presses space. In the editor, go to Bird, Rigid Body 2D, Gravity Scale, set it to 0. Now in our script, when the user presses space for the first time, we will set the gravity scale to 1. So gravity pulls the bird and the game starts. The next task is to add some pipes. Drag and drop the pipe sprite from the project files, but this is a single pipe and we need a set of 2. So I will create an empty game object to hold the 2 pipes. To duplicate a game object, press Ctrl+D. We will have to spawn these pipes with a custom script. Create a new C# script and name it pipe spawner. Open the script. Here, first we will declare a variable to modify the spawn rate and spawn the pipes. The instantiate function is used to spawn a particular game object in the game world. Invoke repeating method is used to repeat the function after a specific time period. Now head back to Unity and add the pipe spawner script to an empty game object named pipe spawner. As for the pipeset game object, we will create its prefab. so we can use it multiple times. Now hit play and see that the pipes get spawned each second, but at the wrong place. Let's fix it. Head back to the script and in the instantiate function, see that it also asks for the position of where the item is spawned as well as its new rotation. Set the position to the pipe spawner game object's position. Now you can see that the pipes get spawned wherever the spawner is. That's great. But the pipes don't move. We will add another custom script to the pipe set. We will use the transform.translate function in the update method to move the pipes to the left. Now the pipes are moving, but they don't bother to collide with the bird. To make them collide, add a box collider 2D to both the pipes in the pipe set. It works perfectly. Now we want that the game is to be over when the bird hits the pipes. For that, first we will add a tag to the pipes to make them recognizable by the edit tag. In the bird script, we will use the onCollisionEnter method to detect collisions. This function is called when the object this script is attached to hits another object. Here we will check if other object is a pipe or not. If it is, for now we will print a log to the console. You can see the logs here when the bird hits the pipes. Now we will show a text on the screen when the game is over to notify the player. For that, right click on the hierarchy window, UI, text, import the TMP pack. Here we can modify the text. To apply a custom font, we need a font asset. To convert a normal font to a font asset, right click on the font, create font asset. Now assign this font asset to the TMP component. We will disable this text for now and we will enable it through the script after the player dies. Now move to the bird script and create a new variable to store our die screen text. Now in here, we will enable the die text by setting it active. Now hit play and watch. It works nicely. Now what we want is to create a new text to show the points. Head back to the bird script. We will declare a new variable to store our points count. Now in the bird script, we will declare a new variable to store our points count. We will add a new function on trigger enter 2D. This function is called when a collider hits another trigger collider. Here we will check if the trigger collider is a point before incrementing our points. Now we will create a new variable for our points text. In the update method, we will set the text as the value of our points. As our points are integers and set text requires a string argument, we will typecast the points variable by toString function. To score points, the bird has to pass between the pipes. To check that, we will add a new box collider in this empty space. We will set this collider as trigger. It means that if bird comes in contact with this collider, it won't actually collide with it. It will only trigger collision events. It works fine. Now let's add a font to the points text. Now what you are gonna do is go to the bird script and here write enabled equals false. It will disable the word after you die so that you don't move after death. Let's add a start prompt. Duplicate the points text by pressing Ctrl+D and rename it. Type what you want and place the text in the center. Now we want to make the text disappear when the user starts playing. To achieve that, go to the bird script, declare a variable to store our title text. Now when the game starts, we will disable the text. Nice, everything is good, but if we die, we can restart the game. What we will do is to create a method in which we will start the game 2 seconds after the player dies. We will create a new method and use the scene manager.loadScene method to reload the scene. Here 0 is the build index of our current scene. We will call it using the invoke function. It is used to call a function after a delay. Now head back to Unity and run the game. It works fine. The game is almost completed, but we still have something that remains. The pipes spawned are on the same height. To change this, head to where we spawn the pipes. We will add a random value between -1 to 1 to the Y position of the pipes. It will make them a difficult obstacle to cross. Now the game is fully functional. If you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button and subscribe to see more game dev content. Download the project files from the description. This was all for this video and I will see you in the next one.